President Trump is rallying international pressure against Iran. New today, the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, demanding the Strait stay open after a call with President Trump. This as Tehran warns against any new military strikes. Let's bring in Michael Oren, former Israeli ambassador to the United States. Brett Baer had a chance to talk with the president before he left Beijing. And Brett was reflecting on this idea that Iran seems remarkably stubborn and resilient given the devastation that's taken place in that country. Listen to this exchange, if you would.
So why are we where we are? Did you underestimate the pain tolerance that Iran has?
I didn't underestimate anything. We hit them unbelievably hard. Look, we left their bridges. We left their electricity capacity. We can knock that all out in 2 days. 2 days, everything. We left Cargill, and other than, I said, hit it except for the valves where the oil comes out. Because when you hit that, that means you're going to lose a little oil.
So they took out 90% of Iran's missile and drone force, eliminated the Air Force. The Navy's at the bottom of the sea. They blocked the Strait. They're squeezing the economy like there's no tomorrow. And yet Iran is still playing, Mr. Ambassador, like they were holding all the cards.
Indeed. Good to be with you, John. That's because we tend to think in the West, in Western terms of what constitutes victory. Victory means sinking a lot of ships, blowing up a lot of bridges, certainly blowing up a lot of factories. But in the Middle East, victory means survival. It means you come out of the debris and you flash two fingers like this and you've won. That's the lesson of Hamas and Gaza. It's certainly a lesson of the Iranian regime. For the Ayatollahs, this is an existential battle. If they lose the war, they don't lose the war, they lose their lives. Their own people are going to kill them and kill their own families. So you're going to have to put an awful lot of pain into that regime and break it up. And I think that the naval blockade is precisely the way to go, because soon they're not going to be able to pay the salaries to their soldiers, and those soldiers are going to have to feed their families. They're going to be very, very angry, and that's when the situation begins to change.
We do see that there is, a lot of economic strife in Iran, but there's also growing economic strife globally. And in fact, the World Bank has got an economic forecast out that says energy prices are going to rise 24% as a result of this. Commodity prices up 16%, fertilizer prices up 31%. And that's even if they reopen the Strait. This is going to continue to get worse. But this is what the Iranian regime, to your point, is banking on, that they can absorb more pain than the rest of the world can. And this is what has, despite many, many military defeats over the course of the history of Persia and over the millennia, that's why they've survived.
Well, listen, we know this is an economic game of chicken, literally. It's not army versus army, it's economy versus economy. And as you said, John, which side can endure the greatest economic pain? And believe me, the Iranians people are in far more pain than even the Americans, paying $5 or $6 more a gallon for gasoline. They not have food. Their currency is worth absolutely nothing. They have very little water, very little electricity. It's a tremendous amount of pain, but the regime doesn't care. Doesn't care about its own people. They shot 30,000 of them last January during that upheaval. So they'll do everything to hold on. Again, the key here is to create a situation where the regime begins to show cracks. And it'll begin to show cracks when they can't pay those salaries, when they can't, they can't hold it together. And that's why, if the president can stay the course, I always say he'll not just go down as one of the great presidents in history, in American history, he'll go down as one of the great leaders in history, because everything will change in the Middle East.
Maybe they'll begin to show cracks, too, if they lose the will to massacre their own people, if they come out in the streets. We'll see. Big question as to how long this is going to last. Brett Baer asked the president that question. Listen here.
Americans want to know when it's over, though, right?
Yeah, look, Vietnam lasted 19 years. Iraq was like 10 years. Korea was 7 years. Another one was 14 years. Another one was 12 years. Another one was 9 years. We're in there for 2.5 months.
The president would seem to indicate there's more to come.
Well, that's sort of the feeling here. The Israeli army, the IDF, is on high alert tonight. Israeli citizens, I'm speaking personally, are stacking up our safe rooms, our bomb shelters, our home bomb shelters with water and staples. And we're preparing. We're prepared for the next round of actual fighting. Whether it's going to happen, we don't know, but we are certainly ready.
If you were a betting man, would you say it is or it's not?
Betting man, I'd give it 50-50. I give it 50-50 because you have to ask the question, okay, what's more bombing going to accomplish? I think that the real pain doesn't come from the bombing. I think the real pain comes from the naval blockade.
And again, if people take to the streets and, the military there decides not to massacre them. We'll see. Mr. Ambassador, always great to catch up with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, John.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.